The word. We back with another stream. It's your boy Chris Marshall. We here first for sports show. NFL training camp series. Sticking with the AFC East. We going to them New England Patriots tonight. Talking about upcoming season. Belichick on the hot seat potentially. Bill O'Brien back as the OC. This receiving core. Just gonna get into a few things about these Patriots. Check out their schedule. We're just gonna see what we think about this team in the upcoming season. Jump right into it. All right, so let's talk about these Patriots, man. All right, so we know last year started off as a train wreck when they hired Joe Judge and Matt Patricia as the offensive coordinators. We knew that wasn't going to work. Neither one of them called plays before an offense, and you could tell just by Mac Jones' regression as a quarterback. Played great as a rookie. He wasn't asked to do much. Easy reads. He wasn't asked to make the tough read. Josh McDaniels dialed up a great offense for him, simplified it for him, but he was able to come out, execute it, and take advantage of what the defense gave him, and he played really, really, really well as a rookie. Got to give it to him. But then he came back in the second season. Josh McDaniels left to go coach the Raiders, and Joe Judge and Matt Patricia, two people in his ear. He had no consistency in play calling. Didn't know what he was going to get from down to down, and he kind of took a big step back. Bailey Zappi came in, got some snaps while Mac was hurt, so it just was no continuity last year on offense, and you can kind of see it in everyone's play. It was a lot of sputtering. They couldn't really get anything going on a consistent basis. So bringing Bill O'Brien back into the fold should definitely stabilize the offense. We should now see Mac Jones get back to where he was 2 seasons ago. And then if he does not do that, depending on the kind of season they have and where they fall, they may be in line for, potentially Caleb Williams or Luke May out of North Carolina. So we way too early to start those talks, but that's just some of the things that you could potentially see if Mac Jones doesn't get back to that quarterback that we've saw his rookie year. Again, sticking with the offense, underwhelming receiving core, if I must say so myself. I do not think this receiving core is going to be able to get it done consistently. I don't see anybody that can get down the field and separate. They have a speed guy. Thorne's kind of a speed guy, but he doesn't really – he's kind of a one-trick pony. I do like the 6th-round addition of Boutte out of LSU, but he's kind of probably going to play the slot early on as a rookie. I don't see him either being an X or a Z receiver with Devontae Parker and JuJu there. I see kind of both those guys solidifying themselves on the outside. Right now, if you look at the Patriots' early depth chart, they have Devontae Parker on one side starting at receiver along with Kendrick Bourne. So right now, if you look at the unofficial early depth chart, JuJu's not even starting. He'll probably be starting in the slot right now, along with Hunter Henry at the tight end spot, with Gesicki, one of the offseason additions, at that second tight end spot. So they have, I like the tight ends that they have. They definitely can should be able to work the middle of the field, which will be good for Mac Jones. He has some security blankets, and they're very strong up the middle with Pro Bowler, All Pro David Andrews, Cole Strange at the left guard is really good. Micah Winu, they're really strong up the middle. So being strong up the middle in the O line, along with two solid tight ends to work the middle of the field, and if Juju plays the slot early in the season, Mac Jones should be able to find a lot of early success getting the ball out into those receivers down the middle of the field. Separating on the outside is where we need to see it if they're going to be able to get that done this year. Again, offensive line, we got to see if these tackles are going to be able to, hold up. Trent Brown didn't really have a great season last year, but they did bring Trent Brown back, and he's going to be again starting at left tackle unless injuries or something unforeseen happens. He gets beat out of camp, and we're looking at a camp battle at the right tackle spot from Connor McDermott and Riley Reif. Riley Reif was brought in the offseason as one of those, again, another one of those offseason additions. So the offensive line, specifically at the tackle spot, is where we want to see if New England's going to want to see if they can get those two tackle spots solidified. Now, the strength of this football team, as we all know, obviously, with Bill Belichick being one of the greatest defensive minds of all time, is their front seven. They're absolutely stellar up front in the front seven. Matt Judon was one of the top leading sack guys in the league last year, along with Dietrich Wise, Christian Barmore, Devon Gaudshow, and Lawrence Guy. They're very stellar on the front line up front, and at the linebacker spot. So I expect New England to put a lot of pressure on the ball up front, get a lot of pressure on the quarterback, hold a lot of low scoring games. That's gonna be how they win football games this year. Low scoring defensive games, run the ball with Ramondre Stevenson, and then get to the quarterback and then Belichick work his magic like he's been doing for all these years. But again, the front seven is very strong. Cornerback, they drafted Christian Gonzalez out of Oregon this year in the draft. He's going to come in and should immediately play. Right now, he's unofficially behind Jalen Mills on the depth chart. I don't see that lasting too long. I expect him to start on opening day. Jonathan Jones should be the other cornerback starting with Jack Jones, an up-and-coming rising potential star with legal troubles. So we don't know how those legal troubles are going to start him off in the beginning of the season. So if they can get their secondary solidified, they should be, again, a solid defensive football team like they were last year. But again, they really need to potentially go out and get somebody on the outside because their receiving core on the outside is very underwhelming, to say the least. One of the big key storylines that I potentially could see happening is Bill Belichick getting on the hot seat. Now, we all know it's been 3 seasons since Tom Brady's left the Patriots and been to the playoffs one time and got blown out by Buffalo. I've always said it was 70-30 Tom Brady. He was the sole reason for that dynasty for 20 years. I was always laughed at. I was always told Tom Brady was a system quarterback, and I was telling people Tom Brady was the system. Before Tom Brady got to New England, Bill Belichick had an under 500 record, and they were 0-2 the season that Tom Brady took over as the starting quarterback. Prior to that, Bill Belichick was not a winning football coach. He did not have a winning record as a coach. He had one winning season with the Browns. Other than that, some pretty underwhelming seasons. Mo Lewis comes in, knocks Drew Bledsoe out, changes the course of history. Tom Brady comes in. Bill Belichick's now the greatest coach of all time. So everybody wants to say it's Belichick. Tom Brady had to go out there and bring those teams back from all those comeback wins. Tom Brady had to go out there and be the quarterback for those teams in order for Bill Belichick to go out there and succeed and get these wins. Over the years, Bill Belichick was able to make some horrible personnel decisions, but because he had Tom Brady to get him over that hump, some of those decisions go by the wayside. Willie McGinnis, getting rid of Lawyer Malloy right before the season started. Some of those personnel decisions that he made, they worked, but did they work because they were good personnel decisions, or did they work because Tom Brady bailed you out as the quarterback? So those are just some of the things that I believe shows why Tom Brady's the driving force for that dynasty the last 20 years. Besides the fact that his first season in a pandemic took Tampa Bay to the Super Bowl and won it. So just some things to show why Tom Brady was the driving force, and I believe Bill Belichick was riding his coattail on his way to 329 wins, which puts him only 18 now behind the great Don Shula. So, will Bill Belichick be able to get those 18 wins to catch Don Shula? Or will his underwhelming football team be able to get him there? That's the question. That's the question that's going to be asked. Now, if we take a dive into the Patriots schedule in 2023, I don't see them getting to 9 or 10 wins to pretty much put them safe and get them to 18 wins next season. I just don't see where they're going to get 9 wins this year, 9 wins next year. They start off with the Eagles at home. I think the Eagles should go as the defending NFC champions. They're going to want to come out and make a statement. I think they're going to go out up to Foxborough that opening Sunday and put on a show and really put it on New England. New England then opens the season again with another home game. They start with the Dolphins. The Dolphins again, all that speed on offense, defense. They're strong. Bradley Chubb is in his system another year, and had a full offseason with the team to get implemented. On top of that strong playoffs that he had last year, I like the Dolphins to get that game as well. Come back the next week with another division game against the Jets. The Jets are going to be the team that's going to be talked about a lot during this season, along with this off season. Everybody's from the national media to the beat reporters and local guys are going to be talking about that team, and I like the Jets to win that game at home. So if the Patriots start off 0-3, we're already going to start hearing about rumblings of a potential quarterback controversy, maybe Belichick being on the hot seat. But your football team starts off 0-3, you're in for a long season. Then they go to Dallas on October the 1st. And like I was saying, this game could go either way, but I actually like New England to go on the road and win that game. As I just see Belichick being able to give Dak Prescott some different looks, cause those guys some trouble. I think they'll be able to win that in a low-scoring, ugly game. Belichick should be able to outcoach Mike McCarthy and and kind of stabilize them and not go 0-4 at the first quarter of the season. Like them to come back the next week and put together kind of a mini winning streak. They'll get the New Orleans Saints at home on October the 8th, which will put them then again at 2-3 and kind of stabilize them at the beginning of the season. All right. They'll be able to come back the next week and get the Raiders, and again look to get the 500. So start off the season a little bit rocky with 3 tough games and 2 in the division, but then come back with three wins and get themselves to 500. Turn around and get Buffalo the next week. That'll probably be a loss. They'll probably be looking at 3-4. Again, it's hard to beat a team twice, especially a team in your division. But this Dolphins team, I think they're going to be a really, really good football team this year, and they're going to be in the mission. So I like them to get that other game against New England, and it's early in the season as well. So they get New England. That's going to be key for the schedule makers. Gave the Dolphins a really, really, really big break. They got them early in September before it gets cold. You know, Miami does not like to travel late in December to those cold weather cities and playing. So them getting the Patriots early in September is absolutely key critical for them. So they should be sending the schedule makers something nice for Christmas this year. And then they turn around and get them again in October, day before Halloween. So they should be able to take care of business at home in Miami right before again Halloween. So that's great favors by the schedule makers. Patriots turn around and get the Commanders at home. Should be able to get that game. We don't know what the Commanders are going to look like this year with the quarterback situation. They have a really strong defense. Chase Young, his option was not picked up, so he's going to be hungry this year to get a new contract. So he's going to be coming, trying to bring the heat and record as many sacks as he can this year. As we know, players play big when that money's on the line. So like the Patriots to probably get that game though and get themselves back to 500 against the Colts. Like them to win that game as well, and get over 500 and get themselves to 6-5. The Giants. This is a kind of a toss-up game to me. When I was going back and forth looking at the schedule, I don't know how this Giants team is going to respond to Saquon not getting his contract. We all know, the world can see it. Stevie Wonder can see it. Everybody can see it. Saquon is the engine. He's everything for that football team. Where will the Giants be in November? Will they be in the hunt, or will they be one of those teams that took a step back this year because of some of the controversy, and just because a lot of those games that they won last year, you don't get those same breaks 2 seasons in a row. So I do expect them to take a step back this year. I do not expect them to make the playoffs again, on top of Saquon being not getting his contract. But this is one of those tricky games where in November, I expect them to take care of business at home because they are a well-coached football team. And I do expect Joe Judge wanting to kind of show Belichick, kind of, I'm one of these new school young coaches. Get out the door, old man. Kind of one of those things, respectfully. Then they get the Chargers next week. That's a loss. Steelers the week after that. That's a loss. Chiefs the week after that. That's a loss. Broncos the week after that. That's a loss. Buffalo the week after that. That's a loss. And then the Jets, the final game of the season. So I can see, honestly, after that Giants game, once they got to that 6th win, After that Colts game, when they get to that 6th win, I can see them losing 7 straight to close the season and finishing 6-11. That's where it kind of got tricky for me. Did I want to give them 7 straight losses to end the season, or did I want to have them beat the Giants and then close with 6 straight losses? Because closing with the Chargers, the Steelers, the Chiefs, the Broncos, Buffalo, and New York, that's probably the toughest 6-game stretch that any team is going to see all season long, and it's at the end of the season. So with they split the games at home, but it's at the end of the season, and it's going to be tough for them to even split, let alone go 4-2, which they'll probably need to do down the stretch to solidify a playoff spot, one of those final wild card spots. So this is going to be a critical stretch at the end of the season, and this is where, again, Belichick being on the hot seat, conversation starts. Let's hypothetically say the Patriots finish the season with those 6 or 7 straight losses going into the offseason. They finished the year 6-11. Belichick's now 12 wins from Don Shula. One of the middle-of-the-road football teams now. The worst place to be as a professional football team, or any professional team, is stuck in the middle. They're in that between 6 and 9 win window. Mediocre to average quarterback at best. 6 wins won't get them up into the Caleb Williams, Luke May sweepstakes. What do you do now? You have a Hall of Fame coach who's had 4 straight underwhelming seasons without the greatest quarterback of all time. Do you let him continue to lose, or do you try to infuse new talent, and new talent being a new coach, into the organization? Some new life, some new blood, some new energy. Because it'll have been, 25 years with Belichick at the helm? Some things to think about. So those are some of the things that I've been thinking about with the New England Patriots and their team, the schedule, Belichick being on the hot seat, just a bunch of little things that we should all be watching out for to see what happens up there in Foxborough. And it's going to be a great season for the entire NFL. We're all looking forward to it. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what Belichick's able to do. If they're able to turn this around with Mac Jones, if Bill O'Brien can come stabilize the offense, get back Mac Jones back to where he was as a rookie. It's gonna be interesting to watch, and should enjoy it. It's gonna be a good season in 2023. So we're gonna come back tomorrow, tap in. We're gonna touch on those Miami Dolphins. I think they're gonna be the best team in this division. I think it's their division to take. We'll dive into them a little bit tomorrow, but for another edition of First Row Sports, it's your boy Chris. I'll see y'all tomorrow.